You are listening to the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. Here are your hosts, Colin, Daly, and Benjamin Goldstein.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin, Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein. And folks, we have a lot to discuss. Not only have the Phillies won 9 of their last 11 games, but here we are. It is June 23rd. We haven't had a pod in over a month. We
Yeah.
have been, you guys know, I play school baseball, Ben broadcasts school baseball. He works, I've got stuff going on. I'm in another school right now, even though my school technically already ended, so we're busy. I'll tell you, the worst thing, those stupid wisdom teeth.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
wisdom teeth.
How'd that go?
Yeah. It was something else, man. I'll tell you, the anesthesia is good stuff. Um,
Were
I
you
need to
like,
figure out where I can find
were you
some of
like,
that,
were
like
you like geeking out,
recreationally.
or what was going on?
Oh, I was really interesting. And I can't remember much of it. I have some apparently I started some group chats,
Oh no.
which is bad. Yeah. Yeah. I actually just saw one of them about an hour ago, and I don't think I can recreate the facial expression that I made. Then I had to immediately call someone and say, oh, this actually I actually said that, and they were like, yeah. And I was like, nice.
Oh no.
Um, I did ask the nurse if I could take out my own IV. Um, and when I was going down, there was when you exited the building, you got yours out, right? Yeah, you
Yeah.
said you did. So did they make you use a wheelchair? You probably don't remember.
I I don't remember. Maybe. I
I
don't have any
I argued
remembrance.
about the wheelchair, and she said it's procedure. You got to use the wheelchair. So when you get out of the building, there's stairs, and then there was a ramp, and she starts turning right to get me onto the ramp, and I said, no, no, push me, come on, I want to get pushed down the stairs. Um, then I asked to do karaoke in the car. It
Yeah,
was
so
an
you were pretty
experience.
bad.
I didn't. I felt fine though. I just felt like I was it felt like just the version of me that I don't often show, if that makes sense. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, I felt
Yeah.
like I was, yeah. But honestly, I don't feel bad at all. I haven't really stopped eating what I normally eat. I just do it carefully.
Did
Um,
you drink the pineapple juice?
I did, and I think
Did
it
it help?
had to help. Now I will say, you can see, I don't think I'm that swollen right now.
No.
This side's a little bit puffy. It was bad Saturday night. It was bad. Right now, this is Monday night. Saturday night was bad. It was very swollen. But also, I was only impacted on this side. These had already gone through the gum, so it was just yanking them out.
Yeah.
So this side is completely fine now. I don't even feel anything. But yeah, it was fun. Um,
Yeah, when I got mine out,
it was fast.
yeah, when I got mine out like a year and a half ago,
Mm.
I was just like singing songs like in the car, but I didn't really do anything crazy. I didn't have any crazy pain. Um, I was just
No, me
I
neither.
was like fine. Like I nothing crazy. I was pretty lucky. I had a lot of pineapple
No,
juice,
I'm
which
I'm kind of the
was
same way. Yeah. And I know you mean the whole singing. I was more um eccentric than usual.
yeah.
That's all. Just a little more out there. Um I just wouldn't stop talking either. Talked and talked and talked and talked and talked.
Well,
That's
I do
kind
that
of
anyway. So
my MO though. Right, yeah, that's just how I just am normally, so no change there. Speaking of changes, Phillies took back control of first place in the National League East after a big series win against the Mets. The hero this time was Jesus Luzardo. It seems like he finally figured out that pitch tipping situation we saw a couple weeks. He wasn't just bad, he was historically bad. We saw his ERA skyrocket from being one of the best in baseball to the mid fours. But yesterday he goes 6 and 2/3 innings. He allowed only 4 base runners. He struck out 7, didn't allow any runs, and the back end of the bullpen was able to shut it down after that. And it seems like they've had their rough patches here and there, but they're kind of back to being on a roll. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the two Luzardo starts. I mean, the big one is against Milwaukee. He goes three and a third, 12 hits, 12 runs, two homers, walks three. And then you got two and a third against Toronto, nine hits, 8 runs, a homer. And then he settled back in against Chicago, 6 innings, allowed just 1 run. Miami, a little bit of trouble, 4 runs over 5 innings. Then had one of his best starts of the season, if not his best start against the New York Mets. 6 and 2/3, 3 hits, no runs. Got the 7 strikeouts, just the 1 walk. He was excellent. And the starting pitching outside of McAble, who also seemed to be tipping his pitches on Saturday, which
Yeah,
is
I know
certainly
that
something
was
to monitor
weird too. I
because it
saw the
feels like
breakdown on that.
you just had the Luzardo tip pitch, and now you have a McAble tipping the pitches, something Caleb Cotham should be more on top of. On sure should be more on top of. But I mean, the offense in the 2 wins, They outscored the Mets by 10 or so runs. I can get the exact number in a second, but it was the 2 games that they won. It was in dominant fashion. Yeah, so they win game one 10-2, win game two, win game three 7-1. None of these games were particularly close, but what this shows me is the Phillies, they could beat the New York Mets. They have officially proven to me. They just did it twice. They haven't done this
Yeah.
since early October in 2024. And we've played them 5 times since. Like
Well, the thing with
they've had
right.
chances, and they finally were able to come out on top. Finally, I mean, they outscored the Mets 17-3 in their 2 wins. Like they're finally showing they can beat the Mets. They did it! Hooray!
And see, this feat isn't just like it's not beating the first place Mets. It really is beating the Mets, period. Because we've seen some bad Mets teams. The Phillies just seem to perennially struggle against. And this series, honestly, this season, like, hasn't seemed to be the case at all. And I'll tell you, one of the big things that I think is contributing to this, and we'll talk about one specific guy a little bit later, but like we're starting to see an influx of offensive production from the entirety of the lineup. Like it's really, I mean, especially this series has come into focus. I mean, Trey Turner has been excellent. His average is up to 300. Kyle Schwarber is starting to hit the ball and get a little hot again. The beginning of his June was very not June Schwarber like. Um, Alec Bohm, kind of out of no, I mean, he had an atrocious start to the season. He's up to 290.
Yeah,
Nick
I know that. Like
Castellanos,
I was in the ballpark Sunday night, and I look at the scoreboard and I see Bohm's hitting like 280 something. I'm like, there's no way that's right. And I look, I'm like
no,
he
it's
like out of
ridiculous.
like Alec Bohm over his last hold on. Alec Bohm's been swinging a hot bat over his last 15 games. He's hitting 350 with a 500 slugging. 500 slug. Last 30, 328. Like out of nowhere. Not. I don't like saying out of nowhere because this is what he should be doing. This is what we've seen from Alec
Right.
Bohm over the
Yeah,
last
no,
couple of
for
years.
sure.
But after that atrocious start he had in April, I mean, this is all-star type stuff you're getting from Bohm. I mean, the power isn't totally there, home run wise, but he's getting the extra base hits. He's getting RBIs. He has 14 RBIs over the last 15 games. Like he's he's doing what he should be doing, and he is a big reason why the Phillies have been winning games with Bryce Harper out of the lineup. It's because Bohm has been stepping up so huge.
Right, and we'll talk about that for a second because when the Phillies have that fully healthy lineup in there, Bohm can get away with being that high average, low power hitter because he's surrounded by all those like high power guys, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, at times Nick Castellanos, who just going down the lineup, he's six for his last 12. JT Realmuto has been kind of all over the place this season, at least from my perspective. He was 0 for 3 in that last game against the Mets, but he's definitely showed signs that he's not. We've talked about that like regression that you see in veteran catchers, and I still don't think he's at that stage where he's just completely um, beyond performing at his prime. And it might not be sustainable for an entire season, especially with the workload that he takes on every year. But he still does a really, really good job behind the dish, and he's putting up numbers offensively, whether they're what they were in 2017 or not.
Yeah, I mean it's been a good run for this offense right now. JT,
Yeah.
Bohm,
Brandon Marsh, he's hot
Marsh,
too.
man. I mean, talk about a guy swinging a bat also out of nowhere, hitting 366 over his last 15. I mean, there's just these guys at the like all throughout the lineup coming up right now.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean, him
beautiful
and
thing to
Bohm are
watch.
kind of in the same situation,
Both were
right? They,
off
they
the
both
horrible
started off the
starts that
season. Yeah,
so both yeah, I mean, you look back to the offseason and the two names thrown around were Bohm and Marsh. And the roommates,
right.
trade both of them. Um, and out of nowhere, I mean, I think as all of us as Phillies fans and people that are a little closer to the game and everything, we should all be writing apology letters to Alec Bohm and Brandon Marsh. Bohm is hitting over 300 over his last 15. Marsh is hitting over 300 in his last 15. His on base percentage in his last 15 is 400. He's got a 512 slug. Um,
Yeah, I
I
mean, it's
mean,
ridiculous. He is.
Marsh's average now is up to 257, and I mean that's acceptable from Brandon Marsh, and he's not playing too bad of defense in center field either.
No, not at all. And you can move him around in the outfield too, as you can you with a lot of the guys in this lineup. I mean, it's on our agenda. We may as well get to it. We're pretty much there now. Let's talk about Otto Kemp. So he gets recalled from AAA. Great campaign. And just like the rest of this team, he's had his ups and his downs, but he is going to contribute in a big way to this major league roster. And I think it's going to happen like in this season, in this postseason. We haven't really seen a guy like him with that kind of versatility who can move around the field and be like a consistent offensive weapon in this lineup. You kind of see it with Edmundo Sosa, but I think that Otto Kemp is almost like Edmundo Sosa, but just a little bit of a higher level player. What do you think? What's your general impression of him in
Well,
his first month or so here?
Otto Kemp can play the outfield. Edmundo Sosa can't.
Oh my God.
So that's
Yeah.
I mean, Otto Kemp is primarily a third baseman. First base, he can play the corner infield. You're not really going to see him much in the. You're not going to see him at all in the middle infield. But they're trying him in left field. They did it Sunday night. I mean, didn't do anything wrong from what I saw. I mean, played. I mean, made zero errors. Caught the ball when it went out there. Threw the ball in when he needed to. Like, I mean, he did about as good as a job as left fielder could have done, based off what assignments he was given on Sunday night. But I mean, if you're going to try it's got to work, and it's working right now. He's hitting well. As also 647 OPS. He's been caught up in his 50 at bats. I mean, if he's going to stick around, I mean, what do you do? Because Bryce is going to be back up. We'll dive in more into Bryce in a little bit. When you bring Bryce back up, who goes down? Is it Otto Kemp? Is it some guy in the bullpen? Like, what do you do when that time comes? Do you send Max Kepler down, who has an average of 211 this year, and over his last 30 is hitting 198? Like, there's nothing special with him. You're getting a lot more production out of Otto Kemp. Also, Kemp, right-handed batter. It's a very minimal amount of right-handed batters in this lineup. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Otto Kemp right now in this lineup, and he can play left field. I mean, you got to stick
Yeah.
with, you got to keep
I,
him
I
around.
really I really don't know, Ben. And I mean, in all fairness, you have to look at this from who's performing now when the Phillies are in a must-win situation. Johan Rojas has not really sustained what we saw from him at the beginning of the season. Because I will say, from what I saw in April, it looked like he was starting to get acclimated to major league pitching. Now he's hitting 118 in his last 30 games.
Look at his average in his
So
last seven. His last 7 games, he's hitting
yeah,
point
it's
oh eighty three.
probably like below 100.
Yeah, 083.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
No.
So I do think there's a point where he he has to go back down. I mean, there is not. He's been given the opportunities, and I'm a big Rojas fan. I think he is an athletic player. He's strong. He has it in him to just hit the ball hard on a line more times than not, but he has not shown any form of play discipline at the major league level. That remains my biggest issue with him. Not a lot of walks and a lot of strikeouts. He's gotten better, but he's still hitting 223. And that's just in this lineup. I mean, you go down this lineup and it is solid from top to bottom, right? You've got guys like Sosa and Kemp and Marsh at the bottom who have, 260 average from Kemp, 279 average from Sosa, 257 average, 713 OPS for Marsh. Rojas is like in my opinion, the clear and obvious outlier here. So I think that's your answer, Ben. I think he's got to go. Do you think you trade Rojas?
Does he have any value? Like the defense is the
That's what I don't
defense,
know.
but like I mean, he's hitting not like I'm looking at his career stats right now, and I look at that 2023 season. 302 average with a 772 OPS in 149 at bats. I mean,
Who
what
knows where that
happened?
went?
What happened? That
You
is
know
going to
what?
be
It
the
reminds.
all-time whatever. He had 5 walks though that year in 149 at bats. By the way,
Well, that tells you something. He was
yeah,
the new guy who was getting easy pitches to hit because he wasn't a
yes.
power threat in the lineup. Um, you know what this reminds me of a little bit? Mickey Moniak.
Oh man,
Like I'm getting the vibes of like hyped up, had his moments of success, not really panning out, but because he was a big name prospect, he might. I mean, obviously, Johan Rojas is not as big of a name as Mickey Moniak once was. And he was the first overall draft pick in 2016. Johan Rojas was an international free agent. They got signed and just worked his way up through the system and was really only known among prospect buffs in the Phillies system or among Phillies fans. So obviously there are very different situations there, but at the major league level, honestly, at the professional level, Moniak and Rojas have been pretty similar. The only difference is that Rojas performed in the minor leagues, even though there weren't really expectations for him coming to the United States, whereas Moniak had all these really crazy expectations being the first overall pick and never really got a chance to live up to those. And I haven't checked in. How have you checked in Moniak this year? Because I have not.
no, I have not checked in. And you look at, I mean,
I'm curious.
Rojas is 24 years old
Not
still.
terrible.
How's he done?
Right, yeah.
How's
245 average, 11 home runs.
Wow. I feel like he was like a name, like he was hitting
Wow,
well.
795 OPS.
Was this early last year or this year? He was like hitting well, and we were all like, "Dang!"
I mean, I don't know. He's hitting 319 in his last 15 games, then OPS well over 1,000. So,
All right, maybe you trade Johan Rojas for Mickey Moniak.
yeah, there you
Maybe
go.
just maybe just that. But I mean, Rojas is
I
24
mean,
years old.
he is on the Rockies, so there's like a chance there.
There you go. Rojas is 24 years old, and his entire development is already
That might be
destroyed.
the thing giving him value.
His entire development has already been destroyed by the Philadelphia Phillies. Because if we've talked about it, I feel like we have talked about this so
So
many
no,
times.
it's if you had to rank the things we talk about here on the most, it's Taiwan Walker and
Oh,
how the Phillies screwed over Johan Rojas.
because there's so much potential with Rojas, but they just destroyed his
Yes.
development by calling him up too early, keeping him around, not letting him play enough, setting him back down, bringing him back up a week after a week, um, and then not keeping him around. And now you got this with him where he's like sometimes playing, but like it's just back and forth, and it's just you got to do something. And if he's the one that gets sent down when Bryce is activated off the injured list, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and it's a shame, it really is, but I think it's what has to happen. And again, I was talking about this before, but just the way that they moved him throughout the system is ridiculous. Like if you look at pitching in Double A, Triple A, and the major leagues, despite how close they are in that like minor league or professional baseball hierarchy, the types and levels of pitching that you see in those three leagues just varies so drastically from one another. Because like AAA is kind of its own entity, right? It's like a lot of guys who bounce back and forth between the major leagues and minor leagues, or the guys that are like retired major leaguers who are trying to like make their way back onto a team in like a bench role. You don't see a lot of top prospects spending a lot of time in AAA. But the fact that he went from AA, which a lot of people will say is the highest level of professional baseball, not in the United States, not the MLB, to the major leagues and then goes back down to face AAA pitching is just like because he's facing in AAA, you're facing pitching that has major league mentality, but very, very poor execution to what you compared to what you see at the big league level. And that is just I don't know. I've never played professional baseball. I barely played high school baseball. So like I can't really relate to this, but based on what I know about how that system flows, it has to be so detrimental to like a developmental process when you're a young player. Because it's just three completely different types of pitching you're going to face. And he literally saw all of that in the span of like what, 3 months?
Well, Rojas hasn't spent more than 2 weeks in AAA because
That's true. Yeah.
He was called up right from Reading, and when they sent him back down last year, which is actually like around this time, I think. He was only down there for like a week and a half,
Yeah.
so it's really not a. That's not
Right.
a.
Because someone got hurt.
Yeah, it really doesn't help at all.
Yeah. They sent him down Actually, we are in the time right now. He was the very short period of time he was down 11 days, June 17th to June 28th.
There you
I lied.
go. Mm,
Wait, this is not in the correct order. I give up. Whatever. Um,
okay.
but yeah, it was a very, very short stint in the minor leagues.
Yeah, this is like messed up because it's. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't know. This is weird. They like skipped over it or something. Or June 17th, he was optioned.
Oh yeah,
And June 28th, he was called up.
July. No, see, that's what I thought. Mine says, oh yeah, I see that now.
Yeah. No, you're right. June
Okay,
17th,
yeah.
sent down.
So
June 28th, recalled. They
yeah,
got the weird, like, he changed his number on June 28th.
did they really put in change number to 42 for
Yeah, they
Jackie
do have that.
Robinson
That's
Day?
kind of unnecessary, but yeah. So I don't know, but
That is really weird.
Otto Kemp is so valuable to this team right now. Like, he's giving me like if Whit Merrifield worked out last year vibes because he can play everywhere,
Yes.
do a little bit of
Yeah,
everything.
that is a really
Um,
good comp.
and I mean, it's I don't know. I just I like having him around. He's
No,
got a
I agree. That
kind of a
makes a
weird
lot of
name
sense to
though,
me.
Otto.
Yeah, finance major. Have you seen that?
He's a finance major.
He was his like LinkedIn page doesn't have him as a baseball player. It's like finance major. I can't even remember where he
Yeah.
went to school. Um, that was on one of the X pages that I saw a couple
Yes.
days ago. I still can't say that. X pages, Twitter page.
X.
Um, it's gross. All right, well, let's talk
But
Bryce
like
Harper then.
also, I'm not done with Otto Kemp, Colin. Max
What's
Kepler
that?
stinks.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about him.
Max
It's,
Kepler
you know what?
is
Let's talk about
straight.
Whit Merrifield. Let's talk about Max Kepler because it's like deja vu at this
It's kind
point.
of like the same deal. Kepler in his last 15 games, 45 at bats, has a 200 average, 308 on base. He has 3 home runs.
I mean, I guess he
Uh,
hasn't been as bad as Merrifield, but he is just brutal in a lineup. Oh my God.
like I would rather have Otto Kemp out there than Max Kepler. What do you do with Kepler though? Can you trade him?
It
1 year, 10 million? You could.
No, God
To
no,
who
no one
though?
wants. Nobody wants that. I mean, the only team that's going to take Otto Kemp is like a bottom of the barrel. Like any team that has like the like a 2017 Phillies, 2018 Phillies, no, 2016 Phillies is the type of team taking a Max Kepler. Any team that thinks that they like had a chance this year and might be in contention next year, they're not taking Max Kepler. It's just a waste of money. It's a waste of a roster spot for a player who could be developing on the field at the major league level.
Would the Baltimore Orioles take Max Kepler?
Never, never. Because like they're a team, they think they can go out. Like that's actually a perfect example of what I'm saying. Like they think
Yeah,
they're going to go out and win next year because they've got the Rushmans and all those young guys that are supposed to be really, really productive at the plate.
who are not right now.
But well, right, yeah.
It's
But no,
tough.
and
I
with
mean,
especially with
he
the
comes into this.
expanded playoff nonsense, there's just less sellers in general. And even the sellers who are definitive this year, they never know what could happen next year. So I think it's going to be really tough to get rid of him and Taiwan Walker.
Well, you're kind of stuck with him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what you do with. I mean, I don't. It's tough. It's tough because there's no value. The contract isn't. I mean, it's a year for 10 million, but nobody's taking that right now for the kind of production you're getting from Kepler. I mean, he has in his last three. He went 0 for 9 against the Mets, and he's 1 for 12 in
Yeah.
his last 2 games. Which I mean, you take that with whatever. He is 12 for his last 91. It's just not good right now, and he's not playing
Mm.
anything. He's not anything special out in the field.
No, it is not.
It's just Max Kepler, Man, when you got Otto Kemp around right now. I would rather have Otto Kemp out there than Max Kepler. When you look at statistics,
Absolutely.
just yeah, I just don't know what you're gonna
Yeah.
do with
No,
either. I just don't know what you're gonna do with
I'm
either one.
curious to see. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. So I guess while we're talking about all this, Bryce Harper is expected back within the next 10 or so days. He took a bunch of hacks. What's that, yesterday? All the days blend together
Yeah, I
now.
mean, he said 45 swings Saturday and Sunday. Sunday Night Baseball
Mm,
broadcast. Think it could be in the next 10 days. Didn't put a actual finger on it, which is
well,
fine. It's just weird. Like
it's
there
not.
hasn't been much positive coming out of this wrist thing. I mean, it came up last year.
I mean, it's been
Didn't
very like,
really.
and I hate to say this, but like secretive too. Like they really haven't given us anything about his timeline, his condition, the severity of it. Like seems like and the whole. I feel like the whole thing's strange.
Yeah, it's because it comes up last year. Didn't hear about it at all last year. Which I guess you want to keep these things with your star player kind of on the low. You see the Sixers do that a lot with Joel,
Hmm.
which has gotten them in some trouble. But you got the same thing here with the wrist last year. Comes out of nowhere, gets hit in the elbow, and it re-aggravates it. You can't swing a bat. It's I don't know. Like 45 swings is encouraging. It's the most we've heard, and it's coming from him, not the organization. Um, but it's I'm not. I mean, it'll be good to have him back. But like I don't know if you saw this, but their winning percentage without Bryce Harper since 2019 is better than when he's in the lineup.
That is a little confusing. I can't lie.
So I don't. Yeah, does it mean much? Eh, sure.
I mean, they're built to win around him, though, right? Like they don't need him in the lineup to be producing consistently, which is a good thing, I think.
How much value could you?
Obviously, it
What could
helps,
you
but
get in a Bryce Harper trade? Think about it.
probably a whole organization.
You
Everyone
want some
loves the guy.
you want some prospects? Farm system stinks.
I would. I want. I'm not. I don't even want the prospects. Just give us your whole ballpark with like the fans and the players in it. Like just pick a minor league team and you trade one person for the whole minor league team.
We'll trade them to the Dodgers for the Dodger dog trademark.
There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
that's all we need.
Honestly, I don't think. I think we need a move to the West Coast.
Oh,
All the teams. Well, all the teams in the West Coast get the overseas players. Have you noticed? Because I think it's a geographic thing because they're closer to like that
So
part
you
of the
want the
world where they
Phillies
all
to
come from.
become the you want the Phillies
What
to
what
become the
what what, what
Portland
like
Phillies?
vibes? Portland. I think it would have to be changed like Pillies, Portland Pillies,
The Portland Phillies from your local Rite
and they're
Aid,
all just drug addicts. Yeah, yeah.
where you
All
get
the
your
homeless
post.
people can play.
Um, yeah. So this Bryce thing is weird, but he's going to come
Very.
back eventually. It's like if we didn't get that update, that somewhat positive update Sunday night, um, probably would have felt like he's going to be out until the All Star break. But it sounds like he's going to be back in the next
Yeah.
10. Is it? Could it be safer to keep him out to the break with how they're playing right now? Maybe because you definitely want to have him fresh for the home stretch. That rhymed. But I mean, Bryce. We all know he wants to be out there. Phillies want him out there. Of course, we want him out there. But I mean, we'll see.
It might not be bad just to get him a few games before the break. That way, if for some reason there's any sort of minor setback, he has some time over the All-Star break to correct that. It's the only thing I can think of why he might want to get rolling with returning to the lineup. So I mean, you know that Bryce is doing everything he can to get back in the lineup. I'm sure if it were up for him, he'd be in there. If it were up to him, he'd be in there tomorrow. But it's not realistic.
Uh, Bryce Harper in the last 15 games prior to hitting the injured list was hitting 309 with a 491 slug at 11 RBIs. But in his last seven, he was hitting
Yeah, see,
125.
he's fine.
Yeah. Then he got hit, and then
Yeah,
he's fine. So
always.
in that Toronto series, he did go 1 for 11, but it's okay. And then one hit was a homer.
Well,
So there you go.
he's all healthy now, hopefully, when he comes back.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, we're talking about when Bryce Harper comes back and keeping him ready for the postseason. Let's go to our last agenda item of the day, Ben. We kept it simple. Do you believe? You told me before the podcast that you don't believe. Is that still true?
I believe. Do you believe in life after love? Ooh, ooh.
Oh boy. Close your ears, everybody.
Do I believe? Well, when it's the same team that it has been since 2022, 23, and you haven't gotten a positive outcome really since then, what am I supposed to believe in? This team is on pace to win 95, 6, 8 ish games, high 90 games. Um, the At this point, right now, they could have the bye. Um, they're set up to win. Good roster. Bullpen's iffy. We'll see what they do at the deadline. But right now, I'm expecting the same thing I've gotten the last 3 or 4 years, and that is coming up short in October. And I don't care if
Yeah,
if people
so
want to say that this team has an edge, if they're different, because I feel like we've been saying that since 2023.
you know what, I'll kind of bounce off what you said, Ben, when I give you my answer. Um, I don't know if I believe in this Phillies team yet, but I do believe in Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fold and all the guys up in the Phillies front office. I think this year more than ever before, it's obvious that if the Phillies want to be competitive in October, like the current roster isn't going to cut it. Like they obviously lost huge parts of their bullpen from last year to this year, and if you look at the numbers, if you watch the games, even if you don't watch the games, it is really obvious that is like the big hole in this team right now. And the Phillies will be so like incrementally better if these issues get addressed before the trade deadline, which is closer than it may seem. And I feel like this always gets overlooked, but just because the trade deadline isn't until the end of the summer doesn't mean the trades can happen today or tomorrow or the next day. And the sooner that the members of the Phillies front office realize that The sooner these holes get filled, the more games they can win, the better they can get set up and rest players for the postseason, the more successful they'll be. And I mean, we've seen this team go out and win. They won 100 and some games last year. They're first in the NL East right now. They did win. How many did they win last year? I can't remember.
90 something. Not a
Oh, so they didn't win
definitely not a.
I was close. I think in my brain they won 100. Um, we know they can win baseball games. They've gotten to the World Series, and I don't think that team was as good as this current team, or at least his experience in the postseason as this current team. So it's not about if they can get there; it's about whether they're given the resources to get there. And I think it comes down to the front office right now. Are they going to give the Phillies what they need at the deadline to be successful? Right now, with what we have, I'm with you. I don't know if I can believe.
And when you look at the past couple of deadlines by Dave Dombrowski, you don't get much. Last year was Tanner Banks, Austin Hayes, and that was Carlos Estevez. And that was it. You look at 2 years ago, Rodolfo Castro, I think.
That was even worse. Yeah, that year. That
I
was
think that
terrible.
was their. I think that was their big deadline splash. 2022, Edmundo Sosa was a good one. Noah Syndergaard ended up working out, so that wasn't a bad deadline. But I mean, the last two
Marsh,
deadlines
yeah.
have, Marsh. The last two deadlines have not.
D-Rob.
Oh yeah, the last two deadlines have not been anything that will blow you away by any means. How am I supposed to expect something different this year? Same thing I'm saying. So it's there's not like it's false hope, but reality when you look at it. Typically, you're the reality guy. I'm typically the
Yeah, it's true.
hoping guy. But when I look at this team, when I look at management, and I look at past history and stuff, I don't expect anything different. And I that pains me to say it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really don't know. Right now, there's too many holes, and I don't see much of a desire to fill them right now. Um, and I
And
think
there's not much
that
you can
the
really. There's not a
Phillies,
lot. There's there's not a lot you can do to fill them either.
right? No, and like with what we've seen with the Phillies cold streaks, like the issues do boil down to bullpen implosions, and that we saw it happen with a good bullpen in the postseason last year. Just can't happen again. Simple as that. Well, Ben, we've wrapped up our agenda items, but there's one big thing we have to talk about before we go.
Oh
If we're
yeah.
buying tickets for a game, where are we going?
Oh, we are going to SeatGeek. And at SeatGeek
SeatGeek.
at checkout, we are using code Philly Sports Report, and we are saving $20 off our first purchase. PHILLYSPORTSREPORT. Colin, what are we doing with that S?
Holding the ass, Ben. Chuck it in the Schuylkill River. We don't need it. That's a new one. I like that. Chuck it in the Schuylkill River.
Yeah, link in the description of the YouTube video and in the podcast. So make sure you go save some money when you are buying tickets this summer to Phillies games, concerts, and whatever event you're going to is on SeatGeek. So it's eligible for anything on there. So make sure you go and use that. Phillies are hitting the road for 2 3-game series. You got
Oh yeah.
three in Houston, and then 3 in Atlanta with the struggling Braves, who have Ronald Acuna back, who is hitting over 400 right now. Since he has returned, he has been on fire. Astros are atop the AL West because that division is pretty bad, but the Astros are pretty good. Colin, how are the first place Philadelphia Phillies doing on this road trip?
I'm a bit torn, I won't lie.
Yeah, so am I. These are two historically troubling places for the Phillies.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the Astros are a team that beats us, and they're good this year. And the Braves
And we lost
are
the
not
World Series
good.
in that building, which I always get.
True. But the Braves are always a pain. I think 3-3. I think we'll lose the series to Atlanta, which is going to hurt. But I do think we'll beat the Astros.
Okay.
Kind of on a roll right now.
Yeah, man.
So I can
I'll
see
go
it.
with 3-3 as well. I'll go with 3-3 as well.
Okay.
Kind of. I like beating the Astros, so we'll ride the same wave.
Yeah.
I'll hop on your wagon. Don't expect Harper to be back on this road trip. It'll probably be sometime in July. Phillies will come back home, host San Diego, and then host Cincinnati. They got an off day on the 3rd. That could be a good day, for Bryce to maybe ramp back up. And then could be back July 4th against Cincinnati. And then they go out west, and then we got the All-Star break. Make sure everyone go vote for the Phils. Hashtag vote Phils. Get
Do
our
it.
guys there. Like, it's weird. Trey Turner, who is hitting better than Lindor, better fielder than Lindor statistically. He is not in. He is like number 4 in National League shortstop voting, and I only use Lindor because he is ranked number 2, I think, behind Mookie Betts, which I feel like should be Trey. So we got to go to the polls and vote for the Phillies. I voted today. You can vote up to 5 times a day. Now, I don't know who has time to vote 5 times a day. If you're voting 5 times a day, you need to get a job. I'm gonna be real here. Just get a job. But yeah. So go vote. Hashtag vote Phils. I sure I know I sure did.
Get Trey on the dirt.
Get our guys to Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I think JT is like the highest
you guys
voted
after Atlanta too, right? What? Oh,
yeah, he's like JT's like
surprised
3rd in catches. Yeah,
that's crazy.
kind of weird, but we gotta go. Did you vote, Colin? I know. I hope you voted.
I did not vote today. No, I will get on that after the pod. Though, don't worry. Do not worry.
You gotta get.
I've got 3 hours and 10 minutes.
There you go.
All right.
All right,
Well, speaking of Atlanta, we will talk to you guys after Atlanta. Hopefully, after 2 series wins.
Hopefully. So,
thanks for listening.
This has been the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Philly Sports Reports wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow the podcast on X and PSR on all social media. Also, consider leaving a review. Catch Colin and Benjamin's writing on phillysportsreports.com, along with following both on X. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show.